Hey, what's up, guys? Here I got doing a new video type for you guys. Wanted to show you guys a little bit of what goes into making Wicked Comics. You know, each issue. You know how I start off. Maybe some of the supplies that I use. As far as erasers, I always use these kneaded erasers that you know, as soon as they get dirty, you could just pull them apart and and put the clean side up, so you never have to spend money on an eraser. And this is I mean, I've tried probably every eraser you could imagine, and I think these erasers are the best because they when you I'll show you on this page. When you erase, it doesn't really take the it doesn't erase the ink lines. So it's let me show you. I'll try to erase some of the on the bottom here. When you erase, it doesn't take off your ink lines like some of the other erasers. They're pretty aggressive. So that's why I really like these erasers. Yeah, of course, don't put too much pressure on it, but I mean, experimenting, these erasers are the best. I'm not really sure what the name of these are, but I mean, you could get these in your local Michaels or Hobby Lobby. These are to me, these are the best. As far as inks, I mean, there's not a particular pen that I really like. I mean, as far as pencils, I use these just mechanical pencils. I don't really use, you know, traditional pencils because they're kind of a pain. You always got to sharpen them. But these mechanical pencils are good. The erasers on the back, I mean, depends on the brand. Like this, the ones on these are not too good. That's why I don't use these. I do have a few brush pens. I'll show you. You know, I use some of these brush pens. And I also use permanent markers and Sharpie markers for the blacks. So it all just depends, you know, what I have at the moment. There's no particular brand that I use, but I'll be working on this page live here. This is another Killswitch page, and you know, I'm gonna ink it with you guys on here. So normally I would start off, you know, I usually draw the whole page out, and you know, I design the squares where I want them, and then I usually you know, I usually just work the page. You know, it's not like I'll spend my whole time on one panel. You know, I try to spread the time out on the page so it goes a little bit quicker. But here, you know, I'll use a ruler to get my get the squares perfect how I want them on the page. Always use a ruler, you know, because you don't want your lines to be nice and crisp. So that's what I always ink in the square first. I'll show you guys. Now this pen is out of ink. Not too good. So you see, you got a nice square going on. See, nice and crisp. Then now I'll go in and I'll fill in the blacks with this thicker permanent marker. So pretty much the blacks are filled in. Now, I always like to add some action lines to the scene, because you know this scene, this Dr. Matt is holding you know, he's holding the Killswitch device, so it's you want to show some kind of motion. So here where I drew this it's almost eclipse. You see this black here. Here I'll add some action lines out. You know, I'll pencil it in very lightly so I know roughly where I want the lines. And then I'll show you guys now how I ink it. So for this, you know, they even sell these too. These are they don't. They're called these little brush. They'll usually come in a set. You know, you see, you have the brush tip on it. These are good for adding weight. I'll show you the difference too. I actually used the pen with the India ink on it. These are also really good. Then on the bottom, I'll come in and I'll you know, add like a little bit of dot, you know, just to give it some what's the word, some graduation, you know, from dark to light, some like a gradient. That's what I meant to say, because that's what you want. You want it to give almost like a gradient effect, so it almost looks like, you know, there's some action going on. There, that page, this page, I mean, this panel's almost pretty much almost done. What you want is, you know, you want some variation in your lines, you know? That's, if you can see the difference, when you start adding line weight, I mean, even when I added this line, you see how it almost pops out that that object. You know, if it was just a very line with no weight, you would it would be very flat. That's basically what you want when you're doing these things. And when you're adding your, when you're cross hatching, I guess it all just depends on your style, you know. People ask me, how do you cross hatch? It all depends on your style, the look you're looking for. I don't like to add a lot of cross hatching. I just, I just add the lines that are needed for your drawing. I think if you over cross hatch, it also gets too busy. That you don't want that either. And this panel is pretty much done. I hope that any of these little tips helps you guys if you guys are making your own comics. But what I could tell you guys is just try to make just try to vary your inks so that your images pop out, especially when you color them. That's my I think that's very important, because if not, you're just gonna have these flat images. Well, it could be the style you're going for, but even if they were simple drawings, I think the more line, different types of line strengths they use on your page, the better your art will get.